Landes. Also nicht nur Deutschland.
Ja, Sir.
Ja, warum glaubt ihr, dass Geschichte ist wichtig? Also ein bisschen Geschichte, wenn nicht im Detail. Etwas über die Geschichte zu wissen, ist wichtig. Glaubt ihr daran, dass es wichtig ist? Was ist eure Meinung dazu?
Ja, Sir, es ist wichtig.
Na, warum denn?
So
Kannst du
dass
mal
wir
ja?
so dass wir über das Land
Über das Land etwas wissen, meinst du? Ne?
ja,
Ja, oder Informationen bekommen. Aber warum diese Informationen? Warum sollten wir über Buddha oder Ashoka etwas lernen und etwas wissen? Zum Beispiel, wenn man von der indischen Geschichte spricht, warum sollten wir das auch einmal gelesen haben oder einige Informationen über solche Persönlichkeiten, solche Zeiten, Zeitalter, Epochen wissen? Why do we have to know a few names and periods in history? Any points here, Babita? Any?
So, yes, sir. So, because we know the origination of that, from
Yeah.
where it originate.
Ja, so how do we say that in German? Damit wir wissen oder dadurch, thereby,
Dadurch
ja, dadurch wissen wir,
über
was,
das Land.
ja, über das Land und die Leute und die Situation, über Wörter und über die Herkunft. You said origin. The word
Ja.
origin in German means Herkunft, die Herkunft. Na, schön. Also, morgen, Raja. Guten Morgen. So,
Guten Morgen.
ja, deswegen lernen wir ein bisschen über die Geschichte. So, was wir hier haben, ist alles, was zur Geschichte gehört. Und das ist nicht nur der Zweite Weltkrieg. It's not just the Second World War. Right? Also es gibt auch andere Sachen, die Teil der Geschichte sind. Es gibt so viele Ereignisse, die Teil eines Landes sind. Zum Beispiel, wenn wir von Bollywood sprechen. Wie heißt der erste Film, die gedreht wurde? The Hindi thing that was shot. What is the name of that first film? Actually,
Alamara?
Nine. But that's a good one.
Harishchandra?
Yeah, Harishchandra. Das war ein Stummfilm, silent film, Stummfilm, Harishchandra. And the first talkie, where you could hear the actor speaking. Yeah, Babita, you gave the answer just now.
Alamara.
Alamara. It's history of films in India. You can also call it general knowledge, general awareness, allgemeine Kenntnisse. But it's also part of Indian history because films is part of culture. Right? If you take the name
Sir?
M.F. Hussain. Yeah?
सर शशांक
क्या?
वेट कर रहे हैं एंटर करने के लिए क्लास में.
और मेरे को डिंग डोंग क्यों नहीं आ रहा है यहाँ पे मेरे फोन में? इसमें आ गया. This laptop makes a ding dong sound when there's somebody waiting. Did he ping me also here, phone पे?
Why isn't it?
मैं फोन बंद कर देता हूँ normally. It's in silent. नहीं, यहाँ नहीं है मेरे पास कुछ. मेरा फोन साइलेंट पे रहता है. So I don't know who's calling. अब से 12:30 तक साइलेंट पे रहेगा ये. So it's good in a way, ना. People get angry. रिस्पॉन्स नहीं दिया, मैंने सुबह मैसेज भेजा, तुमने रिस्पॉन्स नहीं दिया, तो अच्छी बात है, गुस्सा हो जाओ तो मत बात करो, मेरे पास मैसेजेस कम आएंगे. अच्छा, भी बात तुमको करनी थी, मुझे थोड़ी करनी थी. तो इफ आई गेट डिलेड इन रिस्पॉन्स, दे इमीडिएटली आस्क, 4 घंटे पहले मैंने मैसेज किया तो आप जवाब दे रहे हैं. एंड दे डोंट अंडरस्टैंड व्हेन आई से दैट भाई क्लास में था. हाँ, तो क्लास में हुआ था, क्या हुआ, मैसेज तो देख सकता है. Some people, na, you don't talk logic. That is the reason I stopped playing music, because वो सब भैंस के सामने बजाना पड़ता है बीच. So stop. Naja, zurück zum Thema. Aber bevor wir hierher kommen, das ist sehr, sehr interessant. Das ist Geschichte. India had a world chess champion, ein Schachweltmeister. Wie heißt der? Tennis hatten wir auch dann gute Spieler gehabt. Part of history. Do you remember the Weltschachmeister aus Indien? Name of the chess grandmaster and the winner? World champion? Vishwanathan Anand. History. Don't think history is just dates of achieving independence or Mahatma Gandhi's Satyagraha. All that is also history, agreed. But all that is associated with the lives of people. So anything that has to do with lives, whether it's an event like Gandhiji's Satyagraha, Salt March, the Dandi March, all that plus other things is part of history. So history includes a huge lot of things, huge amount. So before wir dahin kommen, es gibt hier einige Bilder von der Geschichte. So before we come there, let's first wrap up the old lesson. Da gibt es, also nur am Ende, da gibt es was zu machen. Also, was wir hier lernen, eigentlich solche Kombinationen, Nomen plus Verben, Adjektive plus Verben und so weiter, das ist auch Teil der 9. und 10. Lektion. They split it up and they are teaching us that certain nouns, certain adjectives, and also sometimes will do. Certain nouns and adjectives, they can also come with verbs. To pay a visit, zum Beispiel. Einen Besuch erstatten. To come to a decision in English. Aber auf Deutsch, to meet a decision, eine Entscheidung treffen. To make a picnic. German, which I put into English. Also einen Ausflug machen. But in English, the verb changes to go on a picnic. Urlaub verbringen. To spend one's holiday. In English, it is spend, in German, verbringen. So solche Kombinationen lernen wir in der letzten Lektion, aber die sind schon hier vor uns in der 7. Lektion am Ende. So we should be able to build these when we speak. Beim Sprechen müssen wir alle in der Lage sein, diese Nomen plus Verbkombinationen richtig gebrauchen oder verwenden zu können. So, was gehört wo? Sich auf eine Prüfung.
Bestehen.
Bitte?
Vorbereiter.
Vorbereiten ist richtig. Nein, auf eine Prüfung bestehen ist nicht richtig. Vorbereiten auf, you prepare for an exam. Also sich auf eine
Aktes,
Prüfung, ja?
eine Prüfung bestehen.
Eine Prüfung bestehen, genau. Genau. So, Nomen plus Verb. Eine Prüfung bestehen oder, I don't want to think negative, but there is an opposite also.
Verlieren,
Nein, durchfallen.
durch,
To fail through, to fall through an exam. That means to fail. Ja, durchfallen is opposite of bestehen. Okay, so unter Prüfungsangst.
ja, es ist verlieren.
Nein.
Nein.
Oh.
Abschätzen.
Moment. What is Angst?
Fear.
Fear.
Ah,
What is the verb? What is the verb that comes with fear? He is. Angst sometimes can be a kind of an illness.
Leiden.
Leiden, to suffer. Unter Prüfungsangst, Leiden. This is Leiden unter, to be under a lot of pressure, a lot of fear, especially of that of the exam. Okay. Den Zeitaufwand.
Absitzen.
Jawohl. Well done. What is Zeit? What is Aufwand?
Time
What
effort.
is, yeah?
Time effort. Zeitaufwand.
Mm,
Oder estimation.
No.
It's an
Zeitaufwand.
kind of estimation.
Yeah, it's an estimation of what? Abschätzen is okay. Of what? The word
effort
here,
is
you're getting close. You're getting close. Also Zeit, also zum Beispiel, oh nein, diesen Weg nehmen wir nicht. Ja, diese Straße nehmen wir nicht. Das ist zeitaufwendig. Das dauert sehr lange.
Wastage of time.
Wastage of time. Expenditure of time. Wastage of time. Zeitaufwendig. So hier Zeitaufwand, der Zeitaufwand als Nomen, den Zeitaufwand abschätzen. To estimate, to work out the time that will be expounded on this. How much time do we need to do this project? How much time do we need for diese Aufgabe? So abschätzen, das ist richtig, Raja, to estimate, to assess. So Zeitaufwand, waste of time, time wastage. Okay, den Überblick, number 4. An overview, Überblick. Negativ, nicht.
Überblick nicht.
verlieren.
Verlieren.
Verlieren ist richtig. Absolutely right. What does it mean?
Overview.
Ja, aber den Überblick verlieren oder nicht verlieren.
Should not forget.
It's a very colloquial use here. Er hat den Überblick verloren.
Forget something.
Yeah, to forget something, but to forget an overview. What does it mean to forget an overview? I'm giving you a literal translation, overview, to forget an overview. This means you have lost the track of things. You lost track of something that is proceeding. You're suddenly lost. Arey, kya ho raha hai? I don't know. I don't understand. I can't proceed. I've lost track of things. And the colloquial sense in English, it's also to lose a plot. They lost the plot. This phrase comes quite often on sports pages when a team is winning. From the almost at the edge of victory, a team manages to lose, as happens with Indian sports teams at times. On the verge of winning and they lose. That means they lost the plot. They lost the plot. They lost track of that path to victory, as happened with Kidambi Srikanth at the World Badminton Championships 3 days back. He lost the first game easily. The second one, he was fighting. The first one, he was 11-3 up, and he lost the game. 21 points badminton. He lost the first game at 17, I think. Because after that, he only got 6 points, and his opponent got 18. From 11-3. The second one, he lost at 22-20 or 24-22. Again, he was leading in the second game. Again, he lost the plot. So then Überblick verloren. He lost track of that victory path. That's then Überblick verloren. This happens when you are going on smoothly with something. Suddenly you don't know what you are saying and what you're doing, and I've lost the plot. So it's not just overview, looking at something from the top. Okay, then Stoff.
Beherrschen?
Beherrschen. Was ist beherrschen?
Owning.
Nein.
Master something.
Master something. Yeah, good, Devika. Well done. So you have mastered the material. Whatever is there in front of you, or whatever is there with you, you're a master of that subject now. You mastered it. So then Stoff beherrschen. Okay. Sich eine Auszeit.
Bewahren.
Nein.
Cure.
Ja, Anjali?
Gönnen.
Only option remaining.
Genau, gönnen. So, gönnen means
To involve. Indulge.
indulge. And what is Auszeit?
Time out.
Time.
Yeah, well done. But a break, a timeout or a break. So you indulge in a timeout or a break while working, for example.
But the Ruhe,
Yeah.
Bewahren.
the Ruhe Gönnen.
Nine.
Bewahren.
The only two left. Gönnen is richtig, yeah. Sich eine Auszeit, gönnen. To indulge in a little bit of timeout and a break. Chalo, let me take a break. And you forget everything there is to forget about whatever you're doing. And then you indulge in a little offbeat activity. Das ist gönnen, to indulge oneself. So die Ruhe, es gibt nur zwei Alternativen jetzt. Da bleiben nur zwei.
Ruhe bewahren.
Bewahren.
But to keep calm, huh? Or keep quiet.
Die Ruhe, give me a better word maybe. Bitte Ruhe bewahren. Keep calm, keep cool, or maintain your peace. Don't fight. Cool down, maintain peace. Das ist Ruhe bewahren. Gut, Raja, keep calm is good enough. Keep calm, keep cool, maintain peace und so weiter. Und Prüfung bestehen, das haben wir schon gemacht. So, learn to use a few of these. Make a note of them somewhere, especially. page number so and so, Übung number so and so, for later reference. These are more useful than trying to memorize these sentences. These are only to see how well we are familiar with the Grammatik. Bevor man mit dem Lernen beginnt, sollte man Zeit haben, sich aufzufrischen. Yeah, one should have the time to refresh oneself. So I'm only building a sentence so that I am familiar with the structure. That's alles. There's nothing to memorize here. Or let's take this. In den letzten Tagen vor der Prüfung versuchen viele Studenten, alles auf einmal zu lernen. The last few days before the exam, many students try to learn everything at one go. Am Tag der Prüfung ist es wichtig, I would go with the sentence. Am Tag der Prüfung ist es wichtig, die Ruhe zu bewahren. To keep going. See? Durch die mündliche Prüfung kommt man am besten, wenn man ohne Hemmungen spricht. You get through an oral examination the best when you speak without any hesitations, without any inhibitions. These are just to make and learn the vocabulary. There's nothing to memorize here. But here, you have to learn them and keep them in mind, not memorize them. Try to build a sentence using these. Also ich muss mich auf die Prüfung vorbereiten. Okay, mich auf die Prüfung. Okay. So you'll have that in mind, mich auf die Prüfung. And you make your own sentences. Also wenn man das macht, da ist man in einer besseren Lage, solche Wendungen im Kopf zu behalten oder im Kopf behalten zu können. Gibt es hier Fragen inzwischen mittlerweile? Keiner, nehme ich an?
Yes, sir.
Hey, it should be no, sir. My
Fine.
Frage was negative.
Fine.
You have to say negative. Yeah. I think Abhishek sent that 9 ja doch. Negative Frage, negative Antwort means you agree to that negative question. No money? No. Don't say yes. No time? No. And you can't say yes anyway. You have to say doch in German, of course in English. Okay, so this is an easy exercise. If you want to try it out, we can still go ahead. So, danke für deine E-Mail und für die tollen Tipps gegen meine Prüfungsangst. Besonders, eigentlich vielleicht.
Besonders.
Besonders.
Okay. Nummer 2. Das waren echt Gold wert. Das sind die Reason. Das waren echt Gold wert. Waren. Also was wir brauchen, ist ein Subjekt.
Dessen.
The.
Dessen is not a subject.
The is the.
Die.
Die
Sorry.
ist richtig. Dessen ist ein Relativpronomen mit dem Genitiv und das Relativpronomen verbindet zwei Nomen. Hier gibt es kein Nomen überhaupt, außer Gold. And this sentence number 2 comes from this sentence here. The tips, they were really worth gold or gold, real gold. So die waren echt Gold wert. Und stell dash vor,
Dear.
stell dir vor. Warum nicht dich?
Still and for still.
To introduce other something jemandem dative.
So how will you say stelle mir vor oder stelle mich vor?
Stelle mich. Nein. Es ist stelle mich.
Stella Mayer's for is imagining.
Right. Und ich stelle mich vor?
Is introducing itself.
Nein.
Presenting.
Ich stelle mir vor to imagine. Ich stelle mich vor to introduce oneself. So here in this colloquial sense,
I said the same.
yeah, ich stelle dir vor, dativ. And just think, just imagine. Jetzt ist es tatsächlich geschafft. Now the exam has been done. Just imagine it's over, exam is over. Stelle dich vor is introduction. Akkusativ is introduction. Ich stelle mich vor, introduction. Ich stelle mir vor, I can imagine, I can think of this. I can bring it to my mind's eye. Ja, for example, right now, stellt euch vor, unser Kurs kommt zu Ende, kommt bald zu Ende. Just imagine, so quickly time has passed. Die Zeit ist so schnell vergangen. Ja, so. Nummer 4. Ich habe alle Prüfungen, ich habe, ja.
Ich habe endlich.
Endlich, ja, alle Prüfungen hinter mir. Und auch schon die Ergebnisse, ja. Habe ich alle, Nummer 5.
Bestanden.
Genau, ist klar, you can see this. Ja. Die schriftlichen Prüfungen habe ich alle bestanden. Ja. Die mündlichen Prüfungen sind auch gut gelaufen. Nur einmal hatte ich ein totales Blackout. Das Blackout.
Konnte ich diese Prüfung wiederholen?
Ja. Wiederholen.
Wiederholen.
Okay. Und Nummer 7.
Sobald.
Ja. Ja.
Sobald ich meine Zeugnis habe,
Mein Zeugnis.
bewerbe ich mich. Der Onkel meiner Freundin hat eine Firma und vielleicht auch einen Job für mich.
Mhm. Ja. Mal sehen.
Ob
Ob
das klappt.
das klappt.
Oder?
Ja. Mal sehen.
Wenn das klappt.
Ist es, wenn das klappt oder falls das klappt oder ob das klappt?
Ob das
Wenn.
Falls. Nicht sicher. Falls.
ich denke, ob whether.
Ich denke auch, ob. Whether it works.
That is exactly correct. Mal sehen, ob das klappt. False is conditional. He is going to get a job which in most probability will be given to him by the uncle of his girlfriend. So he has to see whether that works, not in case that works or if it works. You can't use either conditional because false and when are both conditional. I have to see whether it works. There's an uncertainty about it working. And uncertainty is normally expressed through op, whether. You can't say, ich weiß nicht, wenn es regnet. Wenn, W-E-N-N, not possible. Ich weiß nicht, falls es regnet. Auch falsch. I don't know in case it rains. I don't know if it rains. I don't know whether. Uncertainty ist immer durch ob. So mal sehen, ob das klappt. Und der letzte Satz jetzt, aber erstmal brauche ich jetzt eine Pause nach dem vielen Lernen. Und eine große Party ist auch schon geplant und ganz am 12. August, gleich am 12. August und zwar am 12. August.
Gleich.
Zwar.
Zwar. Ja, zwar.
Zwar.
Aber Sir, wir schreiben zwar und dann aber.
Nicht immer. Nicht immer.
Indeed.
And the word swar here in isolation means, and indeed, that is, if the date is certain, fixed. And if you're talking about gleich, then your date here should also be the same. Write the same day itself. The day I finish my exams, gleich an dem Tag feiern wir oder machen wir eine Party. So the date for the party is fixed for a later time. So zwar am 12. August.
Sir,
Ja?
also mit Art habe ich Zweifel. Also warum minor? Warum nicht minor?
Das ist Genitiv.
Genitive.
Genitiv, Shashank.
Genitive feminine. Freundin.
Ja.
Klar, alles klar.
Ja, it's Genitiv, ne? Onkel meiner Freundin.
Ja, das habe ich nicht gemacht.
Yeah, okay. No, it's a hint. A hint, but it works most of the times. Noun,
2 nouns.
blank, noun. There's a blank between two nouns. That means you have to connect these two nouns. When you want to connect, it shows a relationship. And relationship wird durch den Genitiv erklärt. Eine Beziehung wird durch den Genitiv erklärt. So it's a tip. Just keep this in mind. Your relative pronoun Übung that I've sent you, there's some 15 or 20 sentences there, all in this pattern. Noun, blank, noun. You have to use the dessen, there and therein. Now, watch out for this. Of course, it's clear if there's a Freund des. Der Onkel, blank, Freund des. Then you automatically know it's genitive, masculine oder neutral. Der Onkel meines Freundes. So da ist das klar. Aber hier, das ist feminine. The Onkel, der Onkel, whatever, meiner what? You can't say Schwester, because if you have sister's uncle is also your uncle.
Motor.
Yeah, that was okay. The uncle meiner Mutter ist mein what?
Opa.
Well, it has to be Opa, right? Something on the
Yeah.
grandfather.
For us, it's open.
It's only open. So watch out for this genitive. Easiest way to remember them is that they show a connection or a relationship. Connected to something or someone. The legs of the table. Don't think relationship is only with people. The legs of the table, the pages of the book, the cover of the laptop, the cap of the pen. This is also a relationship. So genitive is used to express eine Beziehung. Eine Beziehung auszudrücken verwenden wir den Genitiv. Okay, so jetzt kommt die neue Lektion Geschichte. Das mag Geschichte. Ja, das ist Wortschatzarbeit. Okay, das machen wir dann später. So, Anjali, are you ready with the audios in case my audio thing doesn't work?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So let's have a look. See hier, wie das funktioniert. Ist das Bild immer noch klar? Ich habe das ein bisschen verkleinert. So sehen wir uns mal diese Bilder zunächst an und dann hören wir einige Audiotexte. So, hier gibt es, also was machen die Leute hier im ersten Bild?
Randalieren.
Ja, heute Fischer, morgen wir. Nein, wir stimmen nicht ein.
Ist ein Protest.
Ein Protest, eine Demonstration. Was passiert hier?
Signing a treaty.
Yeah, so what is the word signing? Signing.
Unterschrift.
Unterschreiben. Ja, das Verb.
Okay.
Unterschreiben oder unterzeichnen. Okay. So, welcher Sport ist das?
Dennis Boris Becker.
Dennis und Boris Becker. Okay. Was passiert hier? Wisst ihr das?
Shad Stoff
Stoff.
Why?
Wine.
Ja, und dann, ja, das ist Wein, also eine Flasche Wein. Wir hören noch etwas dazu. Was passiert hier?
Aufruhr.
Aufruhr, eine Revolution, ein Protest wieder vielleicht? Okay. Was ist denn das hier? Krankennahrung.
Seine alte Medikamente. Er sieht ein Ast.
Jandobam.
Jandubam, ja. Kranken.
Okay, das
Pain
ist das
Bombs,
deutsche
okay.
Jandobam. Ja, okay. Oder hier. Die Waffen nieder. Waffen.
War? Weapon.
Yeah, down with the weapons.
Put down your weapons, okay.
Mhm. Oh, the exclamation mark. It's an imperative here. Raja. Down with the weapons.
Down. Yeah.
Down the weapons. Exclamation mark is here. So, Ausrufezeichen, also imperative sense. Down with the weapons. Down with arms. Und Bettina von Stuttner, und sie hat den Friedensnobelpreis bekommen. Was ist denn Friedensnobelpreis?
Peace.
Yeah, Nobel Prize for Peace. Okay, something to do with Nobel Prize. 100 Jahre, also das Jubiläum wird gefeiert. Und das hier, Bild Nummer 8.
X-ray.
X-ray is English. What does it mean in German?
It's build. I forget the details. Wrong time. No.
Ja,
Röntgen diagram.
Röntgenstrahlen, ein Röntgenbild. Röntgenbild.
I've seen it in a hospital actually.
Ja. Röntgenbild. And the interesting thing here, Röntgenbild. Now, what is this Röntgenbild anyway? Why is it called Röntgenbild?
Keine Ahnung.
Was sind dann diese X-Strahlen? X-Strahlen. Sonnenstrahlen zum Beispiel. Und auf der anderen Seite X-Strahlen. Alpha-Strahlen, Beta-Strahlen, Gamma-Strahlen. Und dann X-Strahlen. In der Physik.
Es gibt keinen Namen, ja. Und dann.
Also X steht für etwas Unbekanntes. Was unbekannt ist, wird normalerweise von den Physikern und von den Mathematikern als X bezeichnet. Ja, X normalerweise als Symbol steht für etwas Unbekanntes. It's a universal application. Something unknown is always X. And if there is something that is not countable, not reachable, you normally use N. The letter N. You can do it N times, but you will not succeed. So that N is number of times, N number, and an unzählbare Vielzahl. So X-Strahlen, sie wurden von, who discovered them? Who discovered X-rays?
Nikola Tesla.
No.
Nikola Tesla. Conrad.
Konrad Wilhelm Röntgen. Das ist der Name des Physikers, der diese X-Strahlen entdeckt hat. Und ganz zufällig, right by accident. He was not looking for them. He just happened to see that image, and it started making him think, ask questions. How the hell did this happen? And he reproduced that again, and he was very successful. And he realized that these are certain rays that can penetrate through many solid objects. Only lead stops them. Of course, through experiments, he found it out. And I can see the inside or whatever is contained within this covered stuff. And they made this discovery that it can be used in medical science. Also, 1895 hat diese X-Strahlen entdeckt. I think 1901 or 1902, I don't remember the date, wurde also ihm wurde der Nobelpreis verliehen. He was awarded the Nobel Prize for this in, I think, 1901 or 1902. Yeah, Röntgen, history again. So let's see if I can play this here. If it works, fine. If it doesn't work, Anjali is there to help out. So let's see. This is the one, Sahil, audios. Yes. Okay. Tell me which picture goes with what, huh?
Kapitel 8. Das machte Geschichte.
Audible?
So went, so good.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Kapitel 8. Das machte Geschichte. Auftaktseite. Das machte Geschichte. Aufgabe 1. A. An der Universität Würzburg erbrachte der Physiker Wilhelm Konrad Röntgen am 8. November 1895 seine größte wissenschaftliche Leistung, die Entdeckung der X-Strahlen, die später nach ihm in Röntgenstrahlen umbenannt wurden. Röntgen erhielt im Jahr 1901 den ersten Nobelpreis für Physik. Die 50.000 Kronen Preisgeld stiftete er der Universität Würzburg. Ebenso verzichtete Röntgen auf eine Patentierung seines Experiments, wodurch sein Röntgenapparat schneller Verbreitung fand.
Very short audio. Did you catch what he said? In German, these are now called Röntgenstrahlen. Röntgenstrahlen, named after him, umbenannt, renamed from X-rays to Röntgenstrahlen. So die Sprache hat ihm diese Ehre gegeben. They gave him this honor. And even more interesting, is a verb named after him. It's called Röntgen. So when you X-ray a patient in a hospital, it's a bit in Röntgen. And this is the interesting part. Germans love this kind of thing. This is a weak verb. Röntgen, Röntgete, geröntget. Ja, Herr Doktor, ich habe ihn schon geröntget. I've already X-rayed him. In English, we use the word X-ray as a verb, as a noun as well as a verb. And it's very brief, 1901 hat er gesagt. Now I have the date correct, not 1902, I was wrong. Röntgenstrahlen. Also das erste Audio war für Bild Nummer 8. Okay. Now Bild Nummer mal sehen. Ja.
Am 7. Juli 1985 siegte Boris Becker im Alter von nur 17 Jahren als jüngster Tennisspieler und als erster Deutscher beim bedeutendsten Tennisturnier der Welt in Wimbledon. Mit 3:1 Sätzen gewann er im Finale gegen den heutigen US-Amerikaner Kevin Curran. Der Sieg wirkte wie eine Initialzündung für Beckers Karriere und für den deutschen Tennissport, der innerhalb kürzester Zeit zum populärsten Zuschauersport nach Fußball wurde.
Nach Fußball.
Next to Fußball.
Next to Football, populärster Zuschauersport. Zuschauer?
Look.
Viewers, watch.
Onlookers. Audience.
Audience. Number one was still football. That time it still is number one, football. And tennis is the number 2 sport. And after Becker, there came a series of German tennis champions. Michael Stich, he also won the Wimbledon. And of course, everyone has heard of Steffi Graf, I hope.
Mm.
A whole lot of German tennis players again. Claudia Kodekilsch. Right now it is Alexander Zverev. So a whole lot of players came out there.
Roger Federer ist in Deutscher.
Schweizer.
Wohnt
Ja.
Ja, wohnt in Schweiz.
Ist Schweizer. Kommt aus der Schweiz.
Genau, aber ihr Eltern sind...
Er wohnt auch in der Schweiz und ist Schweizer. He's very proud of his nationality.
Genau, aber ihr Muttersprache ist Deutsch. Ja, ihr Muttersprache ist...
Ja, natürlich. Also, die Schweiz ist ein deutschsprachiges Land.
Genau.
75% people in Switzerland speak German, 20% speak French, 4% speak Italian, 1% speak Rätoromansch. It's an offshoot of Old Italian, 1%. It's a minority. 75% is German speaking in Austria. Was the expression is Schweizerdeutsch. Totally different accent, totally different words, totally different vocabulary.
Das ist Deutsch, ja.
Yeah, Schweizerdeutsch. He's totally Swiss. And very proud too. He speaks fairly good English. He also speaks French, by the way.
Yeah. Yes, French. Francis.
For that matter, even Djokovic speaks German. Novak Djokovic. Okay, so that's über Boris Becker. He was, I think, 15 or 16 when he won Wimbledon, the men's title, the senior title. He was not eligible for a driving license in Germany. The age at which he became a world champion at tennis in a tournament called Wimbledon, which is considered one of the premier tournaments of tennis. And he retained his title, I think, the following year. Then after that, once Bore came on the scene, Borg was before him. Boris Becker, I think Borg was before him. 80s, no, Becker was later. Borg was before him. Ja? Okay, Nummer 3 jetzt.
C. Glykol wird 1985 zum Wort des Jahres gekürt. Die giftige Chemikalie ist in Wein aus Österreich und Deutschland gefunden worden. Die Alkoholverbindung Diethylenglykol, kurz Diglykol, sorgt für Übelkeit, Durchfall und Krämpfe. Geschädigt werden können Leber, Niere und Gehirn. Die Affäre kommt durch anonyme Anzeigen ins Rollen. Spezialisten stellen die Verunreinigung in Wein aus dem Burgenland fest. Billigweine werden in angeblich hochwertige Prädikatsweine für den Export verwandelt. Nach der Aufdeckung des Betrugs kommt der österreichische Weinexport fast zum Erliegen. Millionen von Flaschen müssen in Österreich und später auch in Deutschland vom Markt genommen werden.
Understood?
Könnt ihr noch einmal spielen?
Bitte, gerne. So.
C. Glykol wird 1985 zum Wort des Jahres gekürt. Die giftige Chemikalie ist in Wein aus Österreich und Deutschland gefunden worden. Die Alkoholverbindung Diethylenglykol, kurz Diglykol, sorgt für Übelkeit, Durchfall und Krämpfe. Geschädigt werden können Leber, Niere und Gehirn. Die Affäre kommt durch anonyme Anzeigen ins Rollen. Spezialisten stellen die Verunreinigung in Wein aus dem Burgenland fest. Billigweine werden in angeblich hochwertige Prädikatsweine für den Export verwandelt. Nach der Aufdeckung des Betrugs kommt der österreichische Weinexport fast zum Erliegen. Millionen von Flaschen müssen in Österreich und später auch in Deutschland vom Markt genommen werden.
Ich glaube Nummer 1.
4.
Nein. Das ist 4, Nummer 4.
4.
Ja.
Über Wein.
Ja, Anjali.
Sir, ich habe nicht verstanden, aber ja, something über Wein und es ist verboten vielleicht.
Alcohol auch.
Nein. Das ist a little tricky. Giftstoff. Das ist Giftstoff.
Poison materials.
Und wo wurde dieser Giftstoff gefunden?
In alcohol.
Im Wein.
Unter den Wein.
Im Wein. Im Wein hat man dieser Giftstoff Glykol, also eigentlich Ethylenglykol, gefunden. Once again.
Glykol wird 1985 zum Wort des Jahres gekürt.
85.
Die giftige Chemikalie ist in Wein aus Österreich und Deutschland gefunden worden.
Giftig.
Ja, genau.
Wein aus Deutschland und Österreich gefunden worden. In Wein.
Die Alkoholverbindung Diethylenglykol, kurz Diglykol, sorgt für Übelkeit, Durchfall und Krämpfe.
It caused nausea, loose motions, that is diarrhea, and cramps. This poisonous stuff in the wine, which was discovered in 1985 in the wine produced in Germany and Austria.
Geschädigt werden können Leber, Niere und Gehirn.
Geschädigt. Was ist schädigen? Schaden.
To damage.
To
Bad.
damage. Liver, Nieren, kidneys und Gehirn and the brain could be damaged if you consume this.
Die Affäre kommt durch anonyme Anzeigen ins Rollen. Spezialisten stellen die Verunreinigung in Wein aus dem Burgenland fest. Billigweine werden in angeblich hochwertige Prädikatsweine für den Export verwandelt.
See what was done? It came because of poison stuff in the soil. It went into the plants, the grapes, and when wine was produced, it got changed into glycol. And later on, they converted this into a cheap wine and marketed for export.
Im Burgenland fest. Billigweine werden in angeblich hochwertige Prädikatsweine für den Export verwandelt.
High-value Prädikatsweine.
Nach der Aufdeckung des Betrugs kommt der österreichische Weinexport fast zum Erliegen.
Once this was found out, Betrug, this cheating was discovered, that this poisonous stuff is being exported. Once this was found out, the Austrian wine industry came to nil, literally. Check.
In Export verwandelt. Nach der Aufdeckung des Betrugs kommt der österreichische Weinexport fast zum Erliegen. Millionen von Flaschen müssen in Österreich und später auch in Deutschland vom Markt genommen werden.
Zum Erliegen, almost destroyed. Von Millionen von Flaschen aus Deutschland und aus Österreich musste vor Markt weggenommen werden. They had to be removed from the market. Millions of bottles already prepared, packed, sent. They had to be taken off the market. This is a scandal. So this scandal is also history. So history is not just Hitler, history is not just Buddha, Ashoka, Mahatma Gandhi, Nelson Mandela. History is lots of things. Yeah? Okay, so let's go on one more. If it's clear, then it's good. Yeah.
B.
Nachdem sich Adolf Hitler, der jegliche Art der Kapitulation ablehnte, am 30. April 1945 das Leben genommen hatte, eroberte die Rote Armee Berlin. Deutschland hatte den Zweiten Weltkrieg verloren. Die alliierten Streitkräfte drängten auf die bedingungslose Kapitulation, die am 7. Mai von Generaloberst Jodl und in der Nacht vom 8. auf den 9. Mai 1945 von Generalfeldmarschall Keitel unterzeichnet wird.
2.
Das ist zwei. Did you catch the name of this guy?
General. I forget. Just I.
Okay, anyway, names sometimes are very difficult to catch. I agree. I'll play it again. Did you catch the date when this document was signed?
Mai 19 Mai.
I want the date, the
19.
precise date. Not the year, date first. Remember audio, this is the important part in the proofing. I'll play it again. Two things we must catch, okay? You need to catch. There's a word, English word used for this document and the name of this person. I'll give you a hint. The name comes at the end. And then there is a date given on which day this document was signed. Okay.
B.
Nachdem sich Adolf Hitler, der jegliche Art der Kapitulation ablehnte, am 30. April 1945 das Leben genommen hatte, eroberte die Rote Armee Berlin. Deutschland hatte den Zweiten Weltkrieg verloren. Die alliierten Streitkräfte drängten auf die bedingungslose Kapitulation, die am 7. Mai von Generaloberst Jodl und in der Nacht vom 8. auf den 9. Mai 1945 von Generalfeldmarschall Keitel unterzeichnet wird.
Okay, now you have the name.
General Feldmarschall.
Marshall.
Feldmarschall Keitel. What is Feldmarschall?
Marshall.
Fly
Marshal.
Marshal.
Field Marshal. Can you name India's first Field Marshal?
Cariappa.
Manekshaw. Cariappa was a general. The post of Field Marshal was created later by Indira Gandhi. Cariappa is way, way before. He was the general. Field Marshal SHFJ Manekshaw. I think it was Samji Hormasji Framji Jamshedji Manekshaw. SHFJ. Field Marshal Manekshaw. The next, of course, was the recent accident. Chief of Staff, Chief of Defense Staff, CDS. That's again a new post. The first time this post was created. A person who was above the general, above the Air Chief Marshal, and above the Admiral.
Bipin Rawat.
Ja, this ist Feldmarschall Keitel und unterzeichnete die Kapitulation. Was bedeutet Kapitulation? The English word I told you, capitulate. For those of you who follow cricket, roughly a year back, India were all out for 36 in a test match against Australia, but India did not capitulate. Instead, they fought back and won the match.
To surrender.
They did not surrender. So when you say capitulation, it's an English word, capitulation, it means surrender. So was hier unterzeichnet, ist die Kapitulationsdokument. Signing the surrender document, Feldmarschall Keitel. Okay, let's take the next one. And the date, sorry, I missed.
30 April.
9. 30th April was the day of suicide of Hitler.
7. Mai.
Jawohl. Am 7. Mai 1945. Okay, good. 7. Mai is what I wanted to hear. Good, you got that. So.
Die industrielle Revolution hatte auch in der Schweiz Landflucht, Verarmung und Wohnraumnot in den Städten zur Folge. Arbeiterinnen hatten kaum Zeit und Geld, um für ihre Familien zu kochen. Kalte Speisen oder Alkohol ersetzten oft warme Mahlzeiten. Fabrikkantinen verkauften zwar warme, aber wenig nahrhafte Mahlzeiten. Die Folgen? Weit verbreitete Unterernährung, Magenkrankheiten und hohe Kindersterblichkeit. Der Schweizer Julius Maggi entwickelte ein Verfahren, das die Produktion von schnell herzustellenden Gerichten, die billig und nahrhaft waren, erlaubte. Diesen ersten Produkten schlossen sich schon bald sowohl Suppen in Beuteln als auch eine Würzsoße an, die die Firma Maggi ab 1886 weltberühmt machen sollte.
Bill Nummer 7.
Ja, Bill Nummer 7. And what is this Krankennahrung? That will explain towards the end. Also in Österreich gab es nicht genug zu essen. Man hat nichts zu essen. Also man trank Alkohol und aß etwas. Aber da gab es nichts. Und natürlich, man verhungerte sich, Kinder auch, und sie brauchten Nahrung. Nahrung? Nourishment. Nourishment. And this was offered as nourishment. A small bottle of soup and some herbs and spices to keep the body going. And Maggi was the one, his company, which was given this task of producing these and getting it distributed amongst the masses.
Die industrielle Revolution hatte auch in der Schweiz Landflucht, Verarmung und Wohnraumnot in den Städten zur Folge. Arbeiterinnen hatten kaum Zeit und Geld, um für ihre Familien zu kochen.
The cause of this problem? Industrielle Revolution.
Low wages, due to which they don't have money to eat.
Right. Yeah. So this was the Industrial Revolution that started in Europe. It took a long time to come to India. In fact, the British did not allow it to come to India. That is where they looted all the raw material from India, took it to Manchester so that their looms in Manchester could survive, made cloth there, brought it back to India and sold it here to the Indians. So we bought our own raw products in a finished form, paying extra for the finished form and getting our raw material out of this country at a cheap rate. This is one of the reasons why Gandhiji went into the spinning machine and said, destroy everything that is foreign, don't wear, don't use foreign clothes, and make your own cloth from your own cotton, from your own tree in your own backyard. So be Indian, buy Indian. And that is where Khadi took over. So why should the cotton be sent abroad? Whatever process you have to do or is done there is done and then brought back and sold here. My maternal grandfather was a revolutionary at that time. He never ever talked history or politics at home. We were just kids. But my mother used to tell us stories. When she was young, how Gandhiji visited her house to talk to my grandfather and the others to plan strategies of revolution in the 1920s, 1930s. And my grandfather was supposed to be in possession of some exquisite British cloth and suits. And all that was burnt, I think, in 1920 or 21, I believe. I mean, I wasn't around to see that, naturally not. My mother herself was very young. Her mother, my great-grandmother, had seen this. That all the foreign clothing was burnt publicly. And he switched over to Khadi. I believe since then, he always wore only Khadi. That I know. Whites, Khadi white, Khadi, and the Khadi dhoti. I've seen him naturally. My grandfather, seen him in close quarters, very gentle, very soft-spoken, very polite, very humble. But then people of those days were, not just my grandfather alone, but many people of those days were like that. So this industrielle Revolution, man hat keine Zeit zum Kochen, because you could not stop the machine. The robotics came later, 24/7 came later. The machine could not be stopped. So you had to be constantly working at the machine. It has also caused problems, like Shashank pointed out. Industrielle Revolution hier bedeutet, weniger Arbeiter, mehr Maschinen. So people ran out of jobs. What 20 people could do, or 30 or 100 people could do, one machine did that work. Yeah. And the reason? No food. The machines replaced people, no food, no work. So, jetzt weiter.
Kalte Speisen oder Alkohol ersetzten oft warme Mahlzeiten.
Ersetzen, to substitute, to replace.
Fabrikkantinen verkauften zwar warme, aber wenig nahrhafte Mahlzeiten.
Warme Mahlzeiten wurden in den Kantinen verkauft. But with less of Nahrung, good food.
Die Folgen: weit verbreitete Unterernährung, Magenkrankheiten und hohe Kindersterblichkeit.
Unterernährung, undernourishment. Und Kinder, You heard the word sterb enough? Yet.
Der Schweizer Julius Maggi
Julius Maggi.
entwickelte ein Verfahren, das die Produktion von schnell herzustellenden Gerichten, die billig und nahrhaft waren, erlaubte. Diesen ersten Produkten schlossen sich schon bald sowohl Suppen in Beuteln als auch eine Würzsoße an, die die Firma Maggi ab 1886 weltberühmt machen sollte.
What is the date? 1800? Yeah, the date, please.
Die Firma Maggi ab 1886 weltberühmt machen sollte.
86.
Ja, ab 1886.
Yeah, month we don't have dates, sir.
Ja, the year.
Ah.
The year. Ja, 1886. So
1886.
1886. And what is it they were marketing? Did you catch that?
Gerichten, die billig und nahrhaft waren, erlaubte. Diesen ersten Produkten schlossen sich schon bald ein Verfahren, das die Produktion der Schweizer Julius Maggi entwickelte ein Verfahren, das die Produktion von schnell herzustellenden Gerichten, die billig und nahrhaft waren, erlaubte.
Maggi.
This was the catch here. Verfahren. Was is Verfahren? Procedure. So entwickelte ein Verfahren. He developed a procedure where you could make good food very quickly from pre-packed items. Was 2 minutes?
Julius Maggi entwickelte ein Verfahren, das die Produktion von schnell herzustellenden Gerichten, die billig und nahrhaft waren, erlaubte. Diesen ersten Produkten schlossen sich schon bald sowohl Suppen in Beuteln als auch eine Würzsoße an, die die Firma Maggi ab 1886 weltberühmt machen sollte.
Got it? So he developed a process where you could make healthy, nourishing food in pre-packed whatever containers, like a bottle or this. And this was spiced or with spice added Suppen, which are still popular today, Maggi soups. So you could make this food, this nourishing food, very, very quickly. 1886. You work your way through, I think it's about 150 now? No, 140 years now, roughly, since Maggi hit the market. So the company Maggi is aus der Schweiz. Okay, then 2 more, then we are done.
Im Jahr 1889, mit 46 Jahren, veröffentlichte Bertha von Suttner ihren Roman Die Waffen nieder. Das pazifistische Buch erregte großes Aufsehen und machte sie zu einer der prominentesten Vertreterinnen der Friedensbewegung. Sie beschrieb die Schrecken des Krieges und traf damit den Nerv der Zeit, in der über Militarismus und über den Krieg in allen Kreisen heftig diskutiert wurde. Dieses Buch wurde ihr größter literarischer Erfolg und ist in 12 Sprachen übersetzt worden. 16 Jahre später erhielt die Pazifistin und Schriftstellerin aus Österreich den Friedensnobelpreis.
Bertha von Suttner, she was the foremost Kämpferin for peace. So her books here, Down with the Weapon or Down with Arms, told about the horrors of war and what it means for humanity. She was later, 16 years later of the publication of this book, which was translated into 12 languages, she was awarded the Nobel Prize and is considered one of the forerunners of pacifism. That means peace, talking peace. So conjunctive 2, it would have been very interesting to see Bertha Suttner confronting Donald Trump. one a pacifist, the other a non-pacifist. Want to listen to it again? All of you have the audio. Just go through this more for the intonation and the Aussprache than for the content. Yeah, please do listen to this. Remember, 16 marks we have at stake. 16 Punkte. Aussprache und Intonation. Noch einmal oder shall I go on? So.
Als Ungarn am 11. September 1989 seine Grenze zu Österreich öffnet, fliehen innerhalb von 3 Tagen Tausende von Menschen aus der DDR über Ungarn in die BRD.
Okay.
Auch in den deutschen Botschaften in Warschau und Prag warteten im September zahlreiche DDR-Bürger auf die Ausreise in die Bundesrepublik. Allein in der Prager Botschaft waren es rund 3.500 Menschen. Nach Verhandlungen mit der UdSSR und der DDR verkündet der westdeutsche Außenminister Hans-Dietrich Genscher am 30. September in Prag die Ausreiseerlaubnis für die Massen von Flüchtlingen, die sich dort aufhielten. Die von der DDR ausgewiesenen reisen in Sonderzügen über DDR-Territorium in die Bundesrepublik.
Eine kleine, kurze, zusammenfassende Geschichte, wie die ersten Flüchtlinge aus der damaligen DDR in die BRD angekommen sind. A very brief, quick summary of how the people from East Germany of that time came via Prague and through the intervention of Russia across the Czech border, entering West Germany of that time. And slowly the wall came down, the borders opened. And the last one is also part of history.
Nach der Ölkrise 1973 plant die Bundesregierung den großzügigen Ausbau der Kernenergie. Gegen den Bau eines Kernkraftwerkes in der kleinen südbadischen Gemeinde Wühl kommt es 1975 zur ersten großen Protestdemonstration von Atomkraftgegnern. Nach vergeblichen juristischen Verfahren greifen die Bürger zu radikaleren Mitteln und besetzen den Bauplatz. Der Protest der Bevölkerung findet bundesweite Unterstützung. Bei der Räumung des Bauplatzes kommt es dann zu gewaltsamen Auseinandersetzungen mit der Polizei. In den Folgejahren kommt es auch bei Protesten gegen das Kernkraftwerk Brockdorf oder der Aufbereitungsanlage Gorleben zu bürgerkriegsähnlichen Szenen zwischen Demonstranten und Polizei.
Bürgerkrieg is a word, German political word. Bürger, citizen, Krieg, war, citizens' war. Was wir hier sehen, ist ein Krieg, ein Protest, ein sehr, sehr strenger Protest. KKW, Kernkraftwerk. Was ist Kernkraftwerk? Kernkraftwerk.
Ambulance.
Ja? Kernkraftenergie, Kernkraftwerk. Ja, Kern.
Harvesting.
Nuclear.
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 Nuclear
Ja.
energy.
Also
Kernkraftwerk.
nuclear power station. So this is a protest against a nuclear power station that was to be set up in Germany. And there was a Bürgerkrieg against it because there was an oil crisis. Do you remember? In the mid-1980s, there was an oil crisis. That's when this OPEC and the other countries were formed, and then they decided the prices. OPEC is in the Middle East, where the maximum oil reserves of the world are. So they said, we'll develop our own energy, and for that it is atomic energy. Kern, atom, the core. The word kern means core. It's their kern. So this protest led to clashes with the police, not just in one place, but to 3 other places where Germany was going to set up a atomic energy plant. People protested. So I said, because of this atomic energy, the water that will be released will be full of radioactive elements. What you get there is actually, what is that word for water? There's a radioactive water, there's a name for it in chemistry, I forget now. That will be released into the seas and the waters of the rivers of Germany. So today the fish will be dying, tomorrow we will die. So very, very strong protest, also Bürgerkrieg, citizens' war, literally. So all part and parcel of German history. So this is a kind of a Geschichte. So lots of things have happened there. Lots of things are happening here also. Und gelebte Geschichte is what you have experienced yourself. For example, a few years from now, the word pandemic would be part of textbooks for children. They wouldn't even know what this word pandemic means or meant, because they're only reading it. For us, wir haben diese Geschichte gelebt. This past 2 years has been living history for us. Since 2019 November till today, see how things around us have changed. So we'll take this up tomorrow, this gelebte Geschichte, a very quick look at some points here, and then we'll go on with the grammar part. So this is our participe 1 and 2 once again, quick revision, and then we'll go over to the conjunctive 1 tomorrow. And what I wanted to show you, but I don't think I have the time now, is was ich hier habe. Die Geschichte der Berliner Mauer. It's quite a long thing here. And I have one more, 2 of them, the rise and fall of the Berlin Wall. You want to put it, I can just nip through. Der Bau und der Fall der Berliner Mauer. This is the first German Empire, 780. As you can see, right up to Gascogne, down to the Pyrenees and almost in Spain. Almost up to Spain. Pyrenees is the mountains dividing France and Spain. So all of France, apart from a little part of the Britannia coast. This is Brittany, the coast of Brittany. And all up here, Sachsen, Bayern, a little bit of this was left out, down into Italy. This was the first German Empire, 600, 780. Okay, then let's skip through to the next one. This is Karl der Große. This is the Iron Duke who was instrumental in the formation of the Second German Empire, 1871 to 1891. Yeah, so it says officially 1918, but 1891 the empire broke down because this Iron Duke, he left Bismarck. He left the governance to the king. The king turned out to be very weak, and slowly the empire disintegrated. In between, in Austria, the Archduke Ferdinand was assassinated. That caused the First World War, which ended in 1918. That was the end of that German Empire. As you can see, it's going right up beyond Russia till here. It's called Prussia, West Preußen, Ostpreußen, right up till here. And down south, Austria, a little bit of Italy left out, and then in the west, Belgium, Netherlands, all this was part of Germany. Huge empire. Then came the Dritte Reich, the Deutsche Dritte Reich, the Third Empire. This was Hitler's time, officially 1933 to 1945. This is part of the Weimar Republic, but ignore that for the moment. 1933 to 1945, and this is how the war started against the Jews. Nazis smash, loot, and burn Jewish shops and temples. And the Jews were blamed for causing this ruckus. It's like the wolf and the lamb story. I don't know if you remember that story. So the Nazis, the Nationalsozialisten, they were the ones who caused the problem and blamed the Jews. It's like, attacking a rich person and saying, why are you rich? Because you're rich, I attacked you. No, that is the defense offered by the Nazis for their aggression.
Entschuldigung, who
Yeah.
also who were Goebbels until Goebbels called?
Can I discuss this tomorrow? Because time khatam ho raha hai. I want to quickly go through and I'll come to this tomorrow again. Shashank, if you don't mind.
Okay, sir, no problem.
Yeah, this is, I can say as a fussing here and it'll take up a lot of time. Yeah, Goebbels was Hitler's propaganda minister. Joseph Goebbels. Yeah. This character here, this guy. No, sorry, this guy. This white fellow in the middle. This guy. Chashma pehna hua hai na? I can't see also on my screen. Yeah, this guy. This is Hitler. His coterie. And then this call that came up, Deutschland erwacht, Jago Germany, Jago, like Vivekananda's call to the youth. So something on those lines, this was the call given, Deutschland erwache, wake up. And this is the NSDAP, Nationalsozialistische Demokratische Arbeiterpartei Deutschlands. This is what the party was called. And this is where the swastika was borrowed, which is banned in Germany today. Raja knows that very well. But for us, it's a Hindu symbol. And he had borrowed this symbol from Hinduism. Okay. After the Germans looted the Jews, they fined them $400,000 for being rich, for setting up businesses, and said it was because of this that you were attacked. So now you have to pay the penalty. Second World War had started. This is the Berlin Parliament at the end of the war, the German Parliament, where Angela Merkel was sitting till the other day. This is the Parliament building today. Incidentally, just out of interest, you see this dome here. Inside the dome, there's a staircase. You can go right up into the staircase here, enter this, and then from there, watch the proceedings of the Parliament. What you'll see here are two furnaces. Tandoor, bhatti, not for making roti, but for cooking the bodies of the Jews who were killed, murdered by the Nazis. Some small sample of what you see here. These are the shoes of the victims. I have other pictures showing spectacles, teeth. The gold from the teeth was removed and melted separately, and then they were made into bars. The Jews, being rich, they always had this gold teeth put into their mouth as fillers. So shoes of the victims. 1944, this was Germany just before the war ended and before it fell. Just see the extent to which it had extended or gone or was covering. Right up here to Denmark, almost Netherlands, Belgium. Switzerland was neutral, so it left Switzerland. Italy, Croatia. Italy had its own dictator, Mussolini, Benito Mussolini. Croatia, part of Slovakia was left out. Krakow, this is Poland, was left out, and all this. Administrative, distribution. What you see here, these were called the Trümmerfrauen, or the Rummage, or not Rummage, the ladies who worked clearing the rubble women. Rubble is what you get when a building falls down. It's called rubble, Trümmer of Deutsch. They were called the Trümmerfrauen. They are helping clearing up all the collapsed building. Why only women? Because the men had already died, number one. And number two, the men had died and they were buried underneath this. Their brothers, their children, kids, newborns, young ones, brothers, uncles, aunts, old people. So they were not only clearing up, but they were also searching for the bodies of their loved ones after the Second World War. This is ground zero. Ground zero. All of Germany. This is the Berliner Brandenburger Gate, Brandenburger Tor. See the section all around. Ground zero. This is the Brandenburger Tor today. On the West Berlin side. What you see in the background is East Berlin. This is the only building in Berlin that has been left as it is. The rest of Berlin has been redone, remade. But this church here is called literally a memorial or a remembrance church. In German, it is Gedächtniskirche. So they want people of today to remember what war was, how it once affected all of Germany. So they did not restore or rebuild this church. They left it as it is. Even now it stands as it is in the center of Berlin, very close to Alexanderplatz. All around you see modern buildings. Not this one. Gedächtniskirche. Okay. Now the quick look at the pre-war Germany. This is the Vorgeschichte to that separation and the building of the wall. I think I'm getting past the time. I have to stop quickly. Germany was divided into 4 administrative zones: Russian here, British, French, and American. Even Berlin, being the capital of Germany at that time, was all divided into 4 administrative zones. So Berlin itself was separated into these zones like this. So the eastern part of Berlin was the Russian administrative zone. You had the American here, bottom, British, and the French administrative zone. Anyone know this place? Okay, let's get back. I'm worried about the time. The other group comes in very, very much on time. What happened quickly after this is about the war? The SED, the Social Unity Party of Germany, was founded in 1946. And then there was this usual small squabbles and war because of politics and ego problems and so on and so forth. And so on Germany, it was decided to divide Germany on the 7th of October, 1949. That led to other problems, and like I said, I'll tell you tomorrow about it, please. I need about another 10 minutes. I don't have that much time today. Later. So 13th August 1961, the beginning of the wall began, and it was over in 3 days. And 2 months before the beginning of the wall, the East German president of that time, Walter Ulbricht, he announced, niemand hat die Absicht, eine Mauer zu errichten. A month before that, or 2 months before that. No one has the intention of building a wall. They don't have any intention of building a wall. In 2 months, he got the wall built. That's politics. This is how the wall used to look those times. This is the West German part. Close to the wall. You could approach it, touch it, go to it, stand on it, abuse the soldiers on the other side, do what you want. But on the East German side, this was the problem. From here to here, it was impossible to get across. You had these the triangles, they called something in army terminology. Then you had this mine strips, then this was the area for the dogs and the soldiers to patrol. And this was again full of concrete slopes, all kinds of obstacles. So there was no way you could run across. Yeah, so like I said, I'll show you tomorrow again. So this is the thing here, the wall, how it came up very quickly. And this is the wall in Berlin, but don't think it is only through the center. The entire western part of Berlin had a wall around it because no one from the East German side was allowed to go in, nor from here. Because because they found this very oppressive, they started moving to West Berlin, and from West Berlin, they were flying to West Germany. That was prevented. Okay, so Very few places were left over for you to cross the border. Heavy border checks were going on there, because the most famous one is Checkpoint Charlie in the American sector. This is Checkpoint Charlie. As you can see, everything is blocked here. This is west and this is east. Okay. This is Checkpoint Alpha. Now it doesn't, it's there just as a landmark. There are 3 checkpoints, like I said. So Alpha, Beta, and ABC. A for Alpha, B for Beta, C for Charlie. This is the military way of pronouncing the alphabets. So Checkpoint Charlie. So now today, you can go through these checkpoints without any border checks, without anything. And this is the German Autobahn. Speed on this at this stage is 80 miles per hour. Okay. So number of people who died trying to cross the wall. They're very close to the German Parliament building and the Brandenburger Tor. Their graves are marked here. The date in which they tried to cross and their names on the crosses. So in 1989, what happened? And on 9th November 89, what happened? And then the Wiedervereinigung, the reunification, this is how it was. Where they could not come to the wall, people thronged the wall from both sides. It was not possible earlier. So I'll come to this tomorrow. So wenn es ihr heute keine Fragen habt, müssen wir leider hier Schluss machen. If you have questions, please jot them down, note them down, mal notieren und mich morgen fragen. Apart from that, anything else you would like to know?